Hello everyone! I got a request to make video about my works which I consider my best top 10. I was very happy to look through all my finished works, but it wasn't a very easy decision. Finally, I managed to limit the list of my finished pages, and now I am able to show you my top 10 or maybe top 11. Let's start from Imagimorphia by Kerberos. I like a couple of pages in this book, but my final decision was this panda bear. I will be showing you top 10, but in random order. It doesn't mean that panda is the best or the worst. I love all my top 10 works the same. I selected this page because it was quite a challenge, especially with the background. I used gouache paint for the first time and it wasn't very easy to manage this gradient with pink, blue and violet colors. Then I decided to add mountains and also it wasn't very easy. Next, I struggled with pencils. I tried to use my color softs, but they didn't work at all on this paper, so I switched to other brands. Also, I tried to stay in limited color palette and to make bright red accents on Chinese Eastern elements. And of course, it wasn't very easy to color white fur. Kerberos draw this panda bear in very detailed way, so I only added some shadows, some color accents with beige, pale gray, but still it was a challenge for me. If you look closer on this page, it has a lot of tiny details, those famous doodles, and it took me a lot of time to finish it. Maybe that's why I decided to include it in my list. Next work is from book by Jade Gideon, and I am proud of it because I hadn't used any pencils. Everything here is colored with watercolors. I deliberately wanted background to look like stains of paint or maybe stains of blood. I remember that it wasn't easy to color her hair to show all curls. Also, it was a challenge to color her skin and her mask. I struggled with adding volume and depth to the flowers, and I spent a lot of time on her gems. As I am only a beginner watercolorist, it wasn't an easy task and I wasn't sure about my color choice, about how colors will be mixing. I think that maybe I had to do her a completely black dress, but apart from this, I am very happy with this page. I really love this page by Jade Gideon, and I was afraid I didn't want to mess it up. Honestly, I don't know if this video is interesting for you because all these colorings, all color alongs are on my channel already, but for me it was really fun to look back at my finished works, to be a little bit proud of myself and to remember about books which I slightly neglected recently and to decide to return to them. So let's proceed to another book. Of course, I had to include Zemlya Snova. I thought that maybe I will select Dragon, then maybe Princess and Knight. But then I decided that I like most of all this proud rooster. The left part was much more difficult to color. For the rooster, I immediately decided which colors I wanted to use, especially because in set of Prismacolors we have a lot of pencils which are great for coloring feathers, and also Tomislav Tomic drew him in a very spectacular way, but on the left page I had to work for a long time to color each and every berry. I especially wanted to color grapes in violet and green color to practice. I spent huge amount of time on the basket. In the end, after I finished to color all feathers, all berries, all details of the basket, I was a little bit tired, so I decided to do very simple, very plain background with soft pastels, which is not my usual first choice, but here with such a detailed picture, I think that simple plain soft pastel background really helped the main figures to pop up on the page. Next book, which I obviously wanted to include in my top 10 list, is Flower Year by Leila Dule. I already finished in this book so many pictures that choice was just difficult. But in the end, I limited my final choice between this one, but here we have less flowers but more leaves, and this one. And I decided that so far this spring page is my favorite in the whole book. Here first challenge was how to color so many green leaves in different ways to get variety of plants, and I added additional colors to the leaves, and in the end the whole greenery doesn't look boring and the same, so I'm quite pleased how I managed to color all leaves. But of course my favorite part is bluebells. I love these flowers. I also did couple of cross-stitch projects with bluebells, so I was really pleased to find them in this book. Leila Dule draws them in a very realistic way, so it was very easy to color. I just followed her lines. I also love how nice blue looks together with deep purple. I decided to make here a very soft pastel background only to emphasize areas around white flowers and around purple because yellow looks nice together with purple. I think that in this way all attention goes to the flowers and nothing distracts attention. So that's my favorite in the whole flower yearbook. In the next book, I selected two pictures. I love all my finished projects in Benoit de Bonheur, but most of all, I love this autumn wreath, which I finished during previous year fall. Here, the most challenging part was to color fur and to find orange, brown, red colors for the fur in order to make it different from orange color of the leaves. And the most fun part was to invent different color combos for the leaves and berries. You can see that here I have green, orange, yellow and dark red leaves, which is probably my favorite, and I also love green berries here. I almost forgot that I did this page, so I am really happy that I have possibility to look back at my work. Probably it was the first page after which I finally started to feel confident about coloring fur. Now I think that I'm not so afraid to start pages with animals with different kind of furs, and that's why to color this cat in the mirror was much easier. I believe that this picture I can include in my top 3 favorite pictures. I'm glad that I managed to show that she is a reflection in the mirror surface. Also, I spent a lot of time working on the bronze mirror frame. I immediately decided that I want my cat to be orange and white, probably because orange looks great together with green. And I love that I made her with blue eyes, very feminine. Also, it was a challenge to color different objects on the table to make each and every of them look interesting and in the same time not to distract attention from the main character. Probably my favorite part is this yellow-red rose in the center and also perfumes in the high bottle with violets on it. Somehow the rest of my top 10 pictures are all in the one coloring book, and it's magical done by Hannah Carlson. I don't know why everything I am most proud of is in this book, but I think it's because I really love to experiment in this book, especially with the backgrounds. Technically, this Egyptian scarab beetle was the most difficult. I colored everything here with Prismacolor pencils, and from the beginning I knew that I wanted to try doing this hieroglyph background and to make them look like they are carved into stone surface, but I wasn't sure that I could manage to do such a background. But I used reference pictures, and in the end the most difficult part was to find proper color combo to imitate proper color of the light stone from Egypt. Colors for the scarab I copied from the jewelry which was found in the tomb of Tutankhamun, so everything else was quite easy to color. I'm not very proud of my pale blue gems, but I think that it's because in the end I was a little bit tired of this page. Next project is Night Cat, and this page I did in my favorite mixed media technique. I used regular watercolors, pearl watercolors, and Prismacolors for the rest of the page. I tried to work very carefully on each detail of the page. I love this lantern on the cat's tail. I love this yellow moss. And also I like how orange flowers look on the dark blue background. I don't know if it's visible on the screen, but everything here is slightly sparkling because I used a lot of pearlescent watercolors in pink and silver colors. I don't know why, but my favorite detail of the background is small dark red flowers on the right side. The most challenging part was to color cat's fur. I wanted to do a tabby cat with gray and orange stripes, but it took me really a very long time and a lot of layers of pigment. I used different mediums, I layered and layered, I mixed colors, but in the end I think that fur looks quite realistic. I also think that picture looks quite magical and you can invent a lot of stories about this night cat who carries a town on the back. Next page I selected because I'm quite proud of the background. Again, here I experimented with mixed media, and in real life it has a very nice contrast between surface of the background, where everything is very sparkly, and I tried to imitate foam on the water, and slightly waxy shining surface of the fish, which I colored with Prismacolor pencils. I remember that I had a lot of fun experimenting with different paints, doing such a background. It looks very festive, and also I simply like these blue-green aqua colors. They are always my favorite, and it was another reason why I selected this picture. On the next page I also have a cat. My angel cat wasn't a very easy coloring. I'm glad that I decided to do a dark background, which is not very usual for me. I used here Neocolor crayons, and I also added golden paint, so it's also sparkly. The most difficult part was fur on the cat's back. I colored it, then I deleted, I tried to correct. In the end, I think that I managed to do realistic fur. The most important part for me was to attract all attention to the cat's eyes. That's why I made them with such a bright color, and I like how color of its eyes combined with color of the fur. It's really fun how many cats pictures with cats are included in my top 10 list. I'm really very grateful for this request. It was fun to look back at my finished pictures and to select most loved ones. Probably it's a good idea to make similar video maybe in a year and to decide which pictures I want to include in my next top 10 list, and if I managed to color something else which would be worth to include in top 10. I hope that I was managed to show you something interesting in this video, even if I already shown all these pictures on my channel. I thank you for watching, and until the next videos.